In this video, we're going to take a look at the modeling portion of Maya. Now, the first thing people notice when they enter Maya for the first time is how overwhelming it can be. They have all of these tabs and buttons, and even under here, there's more buttons and tabs under these different drop-down options. What we're going to do is focus on just modeling in this video. So make sure that you are inside of your modeling drop-down here, and you're also on the Poly Modeling tab. I'm using Maya 2018 for this video. It hasn't changed much in interface from 2017 or 2016. So let's go ahead and take a look at the interface itself. Now, many of you, if you're opening Maya for the first time, you're noticing it looks something like this, where you have 4 windows. Now, what you can do is, if there's any of these windows you want to focus on, you can hover your mouse over it and just hit the space bar, like this. Now, for this video, I'm going to stay predominantly inside the perspective view. So I'm going to go ahead and hit spacebar here. Allows us to focus inside of here. Hold the Alt key down and left click. And that'll allow you to rotate around in your scene view, like this. If you scroll your wheel in and out, this is the middle wheel on your mouse, it allows you to zoom. And if you hold Alt and you click your right mouse button, it allows you to zoom in and out incrementally. And lastly, if you hold Alt and you click that same middle wheel in that we're using to zoom in and out, it allows you to pan around that scene camera. Now, none of this is any good unless we're looking at something in our scene. So there's 3 different ways that you can create an object in your scene. Under this Poly Modeling tab, you can just click on Cube here. I'm going to go ahead and hit Control Z to get rid of that. You can go up to Create, Polygon Primitive. And as long as its interactive creation is not on, you can go ahead and hit click cube here. It'll make a cube in your scene. Now, if you do have interactive creation on, what that allows you to do is go ahead and create a cube under your own specifications. So notice that it's informing you that I have to drag the base of my cube on the grid. So I'm going to rotate up a little bit and then zoom out so you can see that. So I'm left clicking and I'm not releasing the mouse here. So again, I'm holding the left mouse button. That's creating the base. And then I'm releasing the mouse. And then it asks me to drag it up. So I'm going to go ahead and hold left mouse button down and just move my mouse forward. And it allows me to create the height of my cube. So I'm going to hit delete to get rid of that guy. And then lastly is my favorite mode of creation. And if you've left Polygon Primitive's interactive creation on here, it'll automatically remember that setting. So if I hold Shift on the keyboard and then I hold my right mouse button down, you'll notice that it gives me a hotbox of all these different geometric options, and one is cube. It also gives me the option of removing interactive creation from here. So with that unchecked, if I just click on cube, it creates a cube in my scene. Now notice that if I hold Alt and left click again to rotate, it's actually rotating around the center point of that cube. Now a way to kind of focus in on that is by hitting the F key on the keyboard, and that allows me to focus in on my cube. So I can zoom in and out. Now there's going to be times, which is going to be every time you're in the program modeling, that you're going to want to alter this cube or move it around. That's where these options come in here. So the first option is Select, then there's Lasso, and then there's the Paint Selection tool. There's our Move tool, which allows us to move our cube around. There's our rotation tool, and then there's our scale tool. Now what you'll notice is if I hover over the move tool, it has a letter off to the side here, which is W. And that corresponds with the top row. Q for selection, W for move, E for rotation, and R for scale. So I'm going to go ahead and hit W. And then on the Y-axis, which is the same color correlation here, I'm just going to move it above my grid, like that. I'm going to hold Alt and rotate around. Something that I want you to think about is the Z-axis is always the front of my object. So if I was making a pop can or a soda machine or a character, I always want my character facing the Z-axis. So I'm going to hold spacebar down here, and if you ever forget that, you can just look at front and it's going to tell you right off the bat that that's the Z-axis. So in the next video, we're actually going to take some of these things we learned, and we're going to model a pop can character out of this cube.